we're all for rolling back taxes on innovation. And that's really one of the principles we'd like to see is a healthcare system that rewards innovation, that encourages people, not discourages them from using the newest medications. And unfortunately, Maria, in the Affordable Care Act, medicines were very expensive for some of our poorest citizens, more expensive than other parts of the healthcare system. So we're hoping this replacement will level that playing field for innovation.
Of course, the Eli Lilly CEO failed to explain that they were expensive before the Obamacare Healthcare Act, and they remain expensive now. So one way or the other, it seems like the drug giants continue to do quite well through that process. Even Donald Trump has said now is the time to get a lot of those costs under control for the American people. To read right now from House Democratic Caucus Chairman Joe Crowley, Democrat of the fine state of New York. Congressman, what do you make of what the Eli Lilly CEO was saying, that maybe under something better, more meaningful for American patients and consumers, we can look at lower drug prices, we can look at more affordable care? I seem to remember, whether through this health care law or previous attempts to rein in drug pricing, for example, drug prices have only gotten higher. What happened?
Well, I think it's interesting to hear from any pharma executive suggest that the bottom line for them is to see lower prices, when the bottom line, we all know, is about they're beholden to the bottom line of making money for their companies and for their shareholders.
As our insurance companies, right?
As our insurance companies as well. So I do think, and when I see a sparkle of hope maybe from President Trump, is that he has said that maybe the federal government, the Medicare and Medicaid, need to be able to directly negotiate the price of prescription drugs in much the same way the federal government does for other, like Defense Department, et cetera, to keep those prices in check. But I don't think there's any question that what we've done under the Affordable Care Act is actually close the donut hole that was created during the Medicare Part D expansion of Medicare. And I think that's a positive aspect of the Affordable Care Act that gets short shrift.
Well, it might well be the case, sir, but as you know, under this or the Republican plan, I know you're a critic of that, the one we know about, that it can't sustain itself right now. The existing law can't sustain itself right now, and so either that's solved by cutting back on care or raising taxes, and Republicans have argued that the way we're going right now, it will implode of its own weight. Do you buy that?
Well, I think that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think that what you've seen is a lack of cooperation in the actual implementation of itself. You know, number of states, primarily Republican-controlled states, that did not enroll or to expand Medicaid to capture even more people. And I think you've seen a resistance that took place, going out starting 7 years ago. I mean, before that, in 2009. When we saw the number of town halls and the disruption that was caused. So I do think there's been a long history. But you can't blame
that on those states. I mean, if you promise a good deal more than you can deliver, it's inevitable prices go up, premiums go up. Right?
It would have been helpful had they cooperated, quite frankly. I think we could have had more cooperation in terms of the pharmaceutical.
You might be right, but sir, I guess where I am now, and you follow this closely, is that I see the crux of the problem getting young people to sign up, healthy people to sign up. Republicans think they can do it with these tax credits. Democrats subscribe to what were credits/subsidies. But the bottom line is, for some reason, maybe it's just indestructible young people who feel that they'll never get sick. I guess we were all there. And they don't sign up, and they don't feel emboldened to sign up or threatened enough to sign up. And unless that changes, Congressman, I don't see this changing, Republican or Democrat, do you?
I do think there are ways which we could have repaired and not repealed the bill. And one of the things I would have suggested is that we actually have open enrollment after April 15th. So when people pay their taxes and then they have to pay a penalty because they didn't have health care, and then they're told, hey, you know what, tomorrow you can sign up for a health care bill. That would have been a good way, I think, to auto-enroll and get more people involved. But I also think that under the present bill, and look, by the way, Neil, we're just learning, we're going through this bill. As we see it right now, it charges older people, sicker people, more than it does the younger people. The idea was to spread.
Well, so does the Affordable Care Act. It just charges a little less, 3 times versus 5 times, right?
But even now that we'll be able to charge 5 times or more within their states.
Versus 3 times or more, right?
Well, versus 3 times or more. There's no question that that's true. But now we're almost 70% increase for seniors, for those